Hello, hello. This is Blue coming to you live from the Palace of Versailles. And today we once again have another special guest from the Onger's 1,000 player Altered TCG tournament, Nadir, the second place Waru in MAC. We get some great insight about his experience at the event, as well as how he approached the competition, among other things. Now, before we get into it, if you like this and my other interview content, be sure to like, subscribe, comment, and let me know. And with all that being said, let's get into it. Today with us, we have Nadir, one of the finalists in the major altered event in France that had over 1,000 participants. First off, thanks for joining me today. And to start off, go ahead and introduce yourself and tell everyone a bit about how you got into altered.
Hello, thanks for having me. So my name is Nadir. I'm 33 years old. I'm from France, Paris, near Paris. And I play TCG physically from 1 year. I started with Lorcana, and then I discovered the Altered, and I'm playing Altered at the moment.
Nice. So, just out of curiosity, how much competitive experience did you get into as far as like Lorcana is concerned?
Lorcana, I made 2 challenges. Uh, I didn't make the top cut, but I made like top 200, something like that. And I'm planning to do the next one on December also. And I won a Stitch in the first champion set, and very enjoying it. So not winning much, but very liking it.
Nice. Yeah, I was always curious as far as like the popularity of Lorcana over in EU in general, and how much of the player base would be interested in Altered. I've been trying to get some folks from my own local stores that play Lorcana to play a little bit of Altered, and I've gotten a few of them to do it at least from a casual basis. So it's always interesting to see where people come from, I guess, when they started playing other TCGs, right?
Yeah, it's the same in my LGS. Like 3 or 4 people like me play Altered now because there were an initiation in like January, just before the Kickstarter, and we could try, and we like the gameplay and the cards, so we do the Kickstarter. We did the Kickstarter, and now we're committed.
Very cool. So yeah, the event you attended in France was originally like a 64 or 128 player side event, obviously with Lorcana being like the main one out there, I believe. And as you saw, it definitely got a lot larger than that with over 1,000 players. Um, Curious, what was your experience like just being at that event compared to other events you have been to before, or just in general as your first event? But I think you said you had been to others before, so just curious about that.
Yeah, that was a big event. Not the biggest I made because I made the challenges. It was not as smooth as the challenges, but that was first experience for the Ludtrotter team that was organizing it. I think they had some issues with pairings and extra, but they sorted out, and the it was okay. The organization was okay. At first, we had some delays, but it was okay. But honestly, for the top cut, it was a bit rough because it was initially planned on the best of 3, and I think we started the top cut like at 8 or 8:30. So they decided to not make the best of 3 and to play on best of 1, which was good for the mental sake, but maybe not for the final result, because some matchups you can win you can win in best of 1 and maybe not in best of 3. So that might have changed the final result possibly.
Yeah, definitely. And we could talk about that a little bit more too. But as far as like the overall experience in general for the event, you said it's obviously not the biggest one that you've been to with the challenges and everything. Um, I guess what was the feeling overall from like the other players? My understanding is that as you did well, and and you obviously did well throughout the Swiss, you kept on moving up tables as far as like table counts and everything. Um, what was the general sentiment from the players? And I'm assuming you've players that you have just met originally online but now in person kind of thing. Everyone thinking about the same thing that you were, or did they just like seeing so many people?
People were very nice. Like after matches, before matches, we I talked with everyone, and everyone was very chill. Of course, going on the tournament, there is more pressure to make the top cut, but everyone was chill and very nice. And the of course, when I play my unique, some people were already they already know, because I made some tournament on Paris, and there was the rumor that this card existed, and some people, when I played, tell me, "Oh, it's you. You are the guy." That's so that was funny. Everyone was chill, even in the top cut. Everyone was very cool, very pleasant. So it was a very nice experience, and I very liked meeting people, and especially I had good chat with Neuro and with Skycrier.
Yeah, definitely. It seems like everyone in the community is pretty just nice in general. I haven't really seen many issues, even just on the Discord overall, and just even from like local events and everything I've heard from the event over in France that you're talking about, and even the Arizona event that the US just recently had too. So it's good to hear about that as far as the community that's building up. But yeah, past that, I mean, with Altered being like such a new game and with so many people playing at this event, and you kind of went into it a little bit. Um, I personally obviously wasn't there for just like a last minute thing. I was happy that they had a stream for both in French and in English, and it was decent from that perspective from a viewer. But for you, and you kind of went into this a little bit already, what updates or changes would you like to see in future events?
Maybe an online system to do the pairings and to have the standings, because we didn't have the pairings, the standings. So to do the math, it was a bit tricky. And I heard they couldn't use melee, like it's done for Lorcana, for example, because there was an issue. I don't know which one, but there was an issue. So if they can use melee or something like that in the next, it will be very more smooth. So yeah, that's the change I would make. And I didn't have much problem except this one for the event. But honestly, the 1K player 1 day, it's very rough.
Yeah, I gotta imagine that it wouldn't be the ideal situation. I have to assume future events, especially if they would be that large, would be at least 2 days, right? Get the Swiss out of the
Yeah,
way, and then have the top cut after that.
yeah, that would be better for everyone, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Did were you able to look back on the stream at all?
Yes, I I review my match on stream. I made I think four, and reviewing the final, I know exactly where I misplay. I made Yeah, I made one big misplay, and if I didn't make it, the game was over day three. But that's how you learn, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I mean, that being the case, we talked about like improvements. what were like your favorite things or things you'd like to see continued as far as like future events?
Uh, I would like to see people trying things, like not thinking the meta is established and playing undervalued heroes. Like some heroes are not very played. I'm thinking of Atsadi or Orak. Even Rin, even if someone made like 7-3, I guess, in Angers, uh, the meta is still could shift. It's up to players to find out the solution. I think, even if of course Waru is the number one deck, of course, no one will say the contrary. But I I like to think that we can we can find solutions.
Yeah, definitely. And like getting into that a little bit as far as like the actual competition, we've been over it a little bit, but I mean, what was the actual experience like making it past the Swiss rounds into the top 16? Were you expecting to do that with your deck? Did you have other decks you were considering playing before the event other than Waru, obviously?
So making top was a good feeling, you know. I wasn't expecting it. Uh, I was went to the tournament thinking I would do my best, try to win match after match, and it went to top cut. So couldn't be more happy. Um, for the tournament, I at first I was a Kojo player and I tried many decks like Foundry decks, aggro, mid, even the ramp one. I like the mid one, but I found that it was difficult against Waru, against Traced, some Izmir also. So matchups were sometimes very difficult, and I I played Sigismar and Waru, and I find that all these heroes, not go wrong because it's a bit not that for the moment. Sigismar and Waru are very stable. Like you, it's very rare to have bad draws and bad opener. So in best of one, you want stability. So I was more convinced to play Ordis. So I tried Waru, I tried Sigismar, and some weeks before Angers, I opened up my Quetzalcoatl, and that was the one. Like the game was telling me to play Waru, so I went for Waru. Uh, and at first I played Waru, the I would say the old version, you know, with Bountiful Mido, Isitok, like the late game stuff. And I tried Winner Box in Paris with this deck, and I made like 4 best of 3 Sigismar against Sigismar that went to 2-1, and my brain was like exploding at the end. So I knew I would play Waru, but this version was not for me. So I uh, I trained the deck and I tried to lower the curve, and that's how I went up with the build I played in Angers. Even if now I changed some cards also, but yeah, just just happy to have chosen Waru, because I think it was the best deck to play with Sigismar, because you have so much stability, and you that you won't be disgusted by your draws or your hand opener.
Yeah, definitely. I was showing your pool that you're talking about as far as like the quits is concerned. I think most people have seen
Yeah.
your deck list in general, and pretty nasty as far as that's concerned. And then as far as like Ordis in general, I believe when they showed the deck results for the entire event, Sig was the top used hero. but I know Tasia was pretty close behind. Um, so it makes sense what you're talking about as far as Ortis being a priority. Um, Past that, though, we've all seen the top 16 deck lists. I have to imagine most people that are going to be watching this video. Um, but based on your experience at the event and like looking back at your matches, do you think there's anything you'd change? I know you mentioned when you were making your Waru deck, you went to the idea of taking out the Bannerful Meadows, and I think most people are taking them out now anyway, as far as like a more aggro look. But is there anything you think you'd change? Anything that surprised you, or what was you think was your most difficult match of the event?
Most difficult match, of course, the final, because that's the
Yeah,
only
yeah,
loss
yeah.
of the whole weekend.
Yeah. Other than the final, I guess. Do you think was there
Uh,
something?
Surprisingly, it was the first round against Atsadi. I faced Atsadi on the first round, and I was like down 3 or 4 expedition. I can't remember, and it was so rough. Like I kept sticking a note in my hand from the hand opener, and it paid off at the end. But it was so difficult because when I had like 4 mana, he had already 7 or something like that, and he played big bodies that I had to remove or sleep or to go under. It was very rough. Like I think of my Swiss match, it was maybe the most difficult one.
Nice. Yeah, it's always cool to hear, like you mentioned at the beginning, as far as like people trying new heroes or underplayed heroes, especially at Sadi. I don't think many people looked at that hero initially and thought, yeah, I'm definitely going to play this competitively, you know?
Yeah, but Atadi is not a good hero, but it might be a good hero against Waru, I think, possibly.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are looking at a variety of different heroes as like a counter for Waru in general. But yeah, no, makes sense. It's a cool just to hear that story in general. But yeah, I mean, past that, was there anything that surprised you other than the Atsadi, or anything you think you'd change
Uh,
minus
but
the one misplay that you mentioned?
no, I was surprised by some Afanas. The I'm thinking of Skyflare first, who well taught his deck. I think he didn't deck build his Afanas like other Afanas. Like he really doesn't have the same deck as the other Afanas in the top 16. And props to him. He also searched for the right Unix, his spindles. But I guess he will talk about it himself. Uh,
Yeah, I've actually spoken to him about it a lot already,
yeah,
and he was telling me that he was super confident against the Waru matchup, and
yeah, yeah,
even in his top eight, he said it was unfortunate that uh, he got that matchup of as far as like someone he had played before on the Waru matchup, so he thinks he could have made it even farther, but it's interesting as far as that's concerned. But yeah, I
yeah.
mean,
And also it's best of one, so maybe in best of three he could have one.
yeah, for sure. Do you, as far as like your deck list is concerned, I know you mentioned the one misplay, but as far as like a best of three in the final matchup, do you think you would have fared better?
No, I think the in the top cut first I played Afanas. So but it was the not the Skycrayer list, it was the more generic list. And I played Afanas quite a lot because I like the champion, and I didn't play him in Angers because of Waru, which is for me a counter, unless you play like Skycrayer. Um, and so I knew how to play against Afana. So in best of three, I think I win. Second match was against Trist, and I think Trist is not the best deck in the meta because of Waru.
Yeah.
If if there is no Waru, I think Waru is the gatekeeper for combo decks. If there is no Waru, I think Afanas and Trist are unleash, and I would just shift to those the two decks. So I had a matchup, but the semifinals I played against Fen, and I play a lot against Fen because I have a friend in my LGS who is like a Fen fan, and he plays Fen for like 2 or 3 months. So I know the matchup, and I know like in best of three for me at same skill level, Fen win 2 out of 3. So I think I was lucky that it was the best of one, but I'm also proud that I played well, I think, and it was a fair fight because we I didn't have my unique during the game, and he didn't have his unique during the game, so it was uh, a non-biased match, and it was a very pleasant one. So yeah,
Yeah, it's always
and for the
interesting.
final, it was a mirror. So
Yeah. It's always interesting when you get those games where neither player hits their uniques, right? You can actually see decks just from the commons and rares, so it's always fun to see those as far as like see who can beat out who overall.
yeah, it seems like you are not cheating because maybe sometimes uniques are I won't say breaking the game, but shifting a little more in your favor or in the favor of the opponent.
Right.
So yeah.
Yep, that makes sense. Do you still have your quets, by the way, or did you end up selling
Yeah, no, it's still not
it?
sold. It's at home. And I think I will stay at home because I didn't have the proposal I was wishing for. But
Gotcha.
it's if I have the right offers, it might go. But
Nah, just just
some people are, yeah, tell me.
just lock it up. Don't let anyone else have it. That way you can bring it out if you need to, but just like lock it up and while you're
Yeah, but
figuring.
you know, some Robin Hood are on outside, and they are very scary.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw, there is one Robin Hood who costs 3.
Oh jeez. I've seen
Yeah,
I've seen the double tax Robin Hoods too that I can't imagine having to deal with either.
and the guy, I don't know the guy who has the 3 cost Robin Hood, but the same guy has a Robin Hood who has the Robin Hood tax and the character tax with no conditions, and another thing, he can put fleeting on a target,
Jesus.
something like that, for 4. So yeah, I think my unique is maybe not the best unique in the world after all, but yeah.
Yeah, it'll definitely be interesting once the marketplace pops up and we can actually see a lot of the uniques for people that aren't like showing them on Discord or whatever it might be, right? So, um,
Yeah.
definitely be kind of crazy and see what we can have pop up at other competitions. But yeah, I mean, last question for you is do you have any advice to those looking to play competitively and replicate your success on such a big stage with like over 1,000 people?
Any advice? I don't know. For the tournament, I just went to do my best. So go to do your best, try to have fun, to play the game, and after you make the math after the tournament, not before, not during it, just enjoying the moment. And if you make top cut or good results, good. If you don't, try to improve if you want to make top cuts, because that's what I learned from Lankana challenges, because I didn't make top cut, but I tried to improve and to learn about the game, more about the game. So yeah, just try to play the game as the better you can, and no regrets.
Yeah, definitely. I think the main thing I've seen as far as like going to events is that even if you aren't doing the best or you don't do as well as you thought you would do, enjoy the event in general, right? Meet some new people, meet the people that you've met online, especially when it comes to Altered with all the online based things between Exalted and BGA and everything, right? So just enjoy it, especially if you can gather a bunch of people like that. But yeah, I mean, past that, what are your future plans other than trying to figure out how to beat Waru?
Uh, there is a tournament. I think it's 128 players near Paris, the November the 3rd. So I plan to. I have my ticket, so I will go play and see what result I have. But I don't know yet which deck I will play. It's still a bit. It's two. It's like 2 weeks from now, so I have time.
Hmm.
And yeah, just doing some tournament for season pass and enjoying the game.
You sure you're not even leaning a little bit towards Waru for the event?
For now, if the tournament was tomorrow, I will play Waru
Okay,
because
gotcha.
I didn't figured out a better deck for me
Yeah.
for now. But maybe in 2 weeks I will play something that I think is anyway. I will play the best deck
Yeah.
of what I think is the best deck for
Okay.
sure.
So you heard it
But
here.
I can say that it's Waru in 2 weeks. You know, sometimes the meta is shifting very rapidly,
Yeah.
and I know that in some discords and on Twitter, etc., they are asking for a Robin Hood ban or Waru nerf.
Yeah.
So you don't know if they are doing something to Waru or to Robin Hood or to bureaucrats.
Right.
Of course, I will change if it's not viable. I like the game, but I like also to win games. So if the hero I play is not good enough, I won't play it.
I gotcha.
Or I will play Kojo all day, you know, because he's my favorite hero. So
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Kojo and even playing a little bit of the Foundry deck as well. So, I was gonna say you heard it here first. Nadir is gonna be playing at Saudi in Paris. So, um,
I tried Atsadi for the record, but it's the Atsadi build is so much better with the Buddha one day of two. So
yeah, I gotcha.
just play Kojo.
All right. Any shout outs, anything you want to plug as far as like streams, discords, or anything for yourself?
Shout out to everyone listening to this interview. Of course, huge thanks to uh, Ludtrotter who organized the tournament in Angers, and to everybody who went and who played well and who participated in this chill environment. And thank you, of course, Equinox for the game because I think it's a great game.
Yeah, definitely. The hope with these interviews is that more people will get to playing, especially in North America, because I know it's not quite as big as it is in Europe right now. So hopefully
Yeah.
people get the idea of seeing some top players like yourself and get into the game a little bit more. But past that, thanks for coming by and everyone watching. If you want to see more interviews like this, be sure to like and subscribe. And once again, have a good rest of your day.